Every morning, while the rest of the world is still asleep, a battle is happening inside you, between the person you are now and the person you were born to become. And most people lose that battle before they even open their eyes. Today's story is about a man who lost that battle every morning for years, until a cup of tea at 8 o'clock changed everything. And the lesson he learned may change your life too. Stay until the end, because the most important part lies in the final 3 lessons. Minh, 28 years old, was living in what he secretly called the grey zone. Not failing badly enough to hit rock bottom, not succeeding enough to feel alive. Just drifting like a dry leaf trapped in slow-moving water. Moving, but going nowhere. Every morning, the alarm screamed at 7:30. He shut it off, dragged himself out of bed, and arrived at the office already exhausted. His job title sounded impressive, Operations Coordinator. But in reality, he spent every day putting out fires he never started. Marketing blamed sales. Sales blamed logistics. Logistics blamed finance. And eventually, everything landed on Minh's desk. By noon, his energy was gone. By afternoon, his mind was foggy. At 7 in the evening, he drove home, ate quickly, and collapsed into bed. No books, no exercise, no dreams. Just surviving until tomorrow, and repeating it all again. And there was another weight on his shoulders. His father was seriously ill. The kind of illness where every phone call from home tightened his chest, because he never knew if this would be the call that changed everything. Hospital bills kept rising, savings kept shrinking.
Dad,
and Minh, the
you're
eldest
here.
son, felt that pressure growing heavier every single day. He wanted to do more, earn more, become more. But he was working hard inside a broken system, like sprinting on a treadmill, sweating, struggling, going nowhere. And every night, the same terrifying thought visited him. What if this grey zone isn't a phase, but my entire life? Pause for a moment and think about that. Have you ever worked incredibly hard, given everything you had, yet looked around and realized you were still standing in the exact same place? If you have, stay with this story, because what happened next changed everything. Inside Minh's company was Mrs. Lan, the CEO, 68 years old. While everyone around her rushed, panicked, and drowned in emails, she moved like water. She arrived exactly at 8, left exactly at 5. No overtime, no chaos. Yet somehow she accomplished more than anyone else in the building. One morning, Minh arrived at the office at 9. His hair was still wet, his eyes swollen, coffee stained his sleeve. He had barely sat down when the phone rang. "Minh, come to my office." He walked in. Mrs. Lan sat behind her desk, calm as always. 2 cups of tea were already waiting. She studied him quietly for a moment before speaking directly. "I've watched you walk into this office every morning for 2 years. And every morning, you look like a man losing a war against himself. You're working hard inside a life that's going nowhere. Do you know why?" Minh stayed silent. "Because you're living against the current. You wake up after the world has already started running. You're exhausted while the world is working. You're always behind, always reacting, never leading. She took a sip of tea. Have you ever watched a river? It doesn't struggle to flow downhill. It simply follows gravity. But if you try to push water uphill, you'll exhaust yourself, and the water still won't go anywhere. She placed the cup down gently. Minh, you're pushing water uphill every single day. Then she shared something she called the 2 golden hours, a rhythm someone had once given her 30 years earlier. The first hour, 5 to 6 a.m., forge your weapon. Learn a skill that directly changes your financial future. You coordinate operations, yet you don't understand cash flow, can't read financial reports, and know nothing about automation software. That's like going to war without a weapon. Of course you're losing. Use this hour every morning to become irreplaceable. Not busy, irreplaceable. There's a difference. The second hour, 6 to 7 a.m. Build your foundation. 30 minutes of movement. The body is the vehicle carrying the mind. If the vehicle breaks down, even the best driver goes nowhere. Then 30 minutes of reading or planning the day ahead. Not vague to-do lists, but battle plans. And 3 non-negotiable rules. Wake up at 5 every morning, even on weekends. Every excuse is a betrayal of yourself. Sleep before 9 at night. You cannot cheat sleep and expect success. And commit for 90 days. The first week is hell. 21 days becomes habit. 90 days becomes identity. She leaned forward slightly. 2 hours every morning sounds small, but that's 14 hours a week. Over 700 hours a year. 3 entire months of real work while the world sleeps. Then her voice softened, almost sacred. Taoism teaches, wuwei wuwei. Do nothing, yet leave nothing undone. It does not mean laziness, it means alignment. Use the yang energy of the morning to act while your mind is sharpest. Use the yin of the evening to recover. When yin and yang are balanced, life stops feeling like a war and starts flowing like a river. The first morning was torture. Every cell in his body screamed at him to go back to sleep. The bed had never felt warmer. His mind whispered, "You can start tomorrow." But he remembered Mrs. Lan's words. Every excuse is a betrayal of yourself. So he got up. He opened his laptop in the dark and studied project management. Then he put on his running shoes and stepped outside. After 3 blocks, he was bent over, gasping for air, hands on his knees. But when he returned home, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Awake. The second morning was worse. His muscles ached, his eyes burned. The bed whispered louder, "See, you're not this kind of person." Still, he got up. Third morning, fourth, fifth. Every morning was a battle, and every morning he won. Just enough. At the end of the first week, something strange happened. Minh arrived at work at 9 o'clock, and for the first time, he wasn't already tired. He had already learned something, already exercised, already planned his day. When marketing brought him a problem, he didn't panic. He had already predicted it that morning. When finance sent confusing reports, he didn't stare blankly anymore. After 2 weeks of studying financial analysis every morning, the numbers finally began to make sense. 2 months later, Minh presented a proposal to the leadership team, a new workflow system he had designed during those early morning hours, built on management software he had taught himself at 5 in the morning. The system eliminated 60% of the conflicts between departments that had plagued the company for years. His manager looked at the proposal, then at Minh, then back at the proposal. "Where did you learn this?" "I taught myself." The proposal was approved within a week. A month later, the system was running, and the departments stopped blaming each other. After 90 days, Minh stopped counting. Not because he gave up, but because he no longer needed to count. Waking up at 5 wasn't discipline anymore. It was who he was. Like breathing, like blinking. His body became stronger. He now ran 5 kilometers every morning. His mind became sharper, finishing a book every 2 weeks. And the results came quietly but clearly. The board approved a raise for him, not because he asked, but because they couldn't afford to lose him. The man who once only put out fires had become the man designing the entire fire prevention system. One morning, he found a handwritten note on his desk from Mrs. Lan. "The river has found its path." That evening, he called his father at 7 o'clock, calm, present, fully there. Not the exhausted ghost who used to mumble, "I'm okay," before collapsing into sleep. His father was silent for a moment. Then he said softly, "You sound different now. You sound like a man who knows where he's going." Minh smiled quietly. Inside, he thought, "I do. For the first time, I really do." Now pause for a moment, because if you think this story is only about waking up early, then you missed the most important part. Minh's story carries 3 truths, not only for him, but for you, for me, for anyone who has ever felt trapped in their own grey zone. The first truth: you are not stuck because you are weak. You are stuck because you are out of rhythm. The Tao Te Ching says, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Minh was not lazy. He worked incredibly hard every day. But he lived against his natural rhythm, waking up when he should already be moving, burning himself out when he should be recovering. The moment he realigned himself, waking early, resting early, everything changed. Not because he worked more, but because he stopped fighting himself. If you feel stuck right now, don't blame your willpower. Ask yourself, am I fighting the current or flowing with it? Sometimes the only thing you need is not more effort, but a better rhythm. The second truth: small hours create a great life. Lao Tzu wrote, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." 2 hours. That was all Minh changed. He didn't change jobs, didn't change cities, didn't change his circumstances. Just 2 morning hours. And from those tiny hours came skill, health, clarity, confidence, promotion, and the ability to care for his father. A river does not carve a canyon in one day. It carves it drop by drop, day after day, century after century. Your 2 hours are those drops of water. Trust them. The third truth: discipline is not punishment. Discipline is love. This is where most people misunderstand everything. When they hear discipline, they think of suffering, restriction, pain. But real discipline, the kind that transforms lives, is the deepest form of self-love. When Minh woke up at 5, he wasn't punishing himself. He was saying, "My future deserves this. I deserve this." Every morning you choose the alarm clock over the pillow, you are showing kindness to your future self. You are building a home, not with cheap wood and crooked nails, but with intention, care, and love. And one day, you will step into that home and realize, this is the life I built with my own hands. And it is beautiful. The Tao Te Ching says, "Water is soft and yielding, yet water can wear away stone, which is rigid and cannot yield." You do not need to be loud. You do not need to be aggressive. You do not need to announce yourself to the world. You only need to wake up tomorrow at 5 o'clock, sit down in silence, and begin. What would your life look like 90 days from now if you gave yourself 2 hours before the world wakes up? Tell me in the comments, what would your 2 golden hours look like? If this story touched something inside you, share it with someone living in their own grey zone. They may not know they need to hear this yet, but rivers always find the people who are ready. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next story. Until then, be like water. Soft, patient, unstoppable. And remember, the Tao does nothing, yet nothing is left undone. Your sunrise is waiting. Go meet it.